Right, everyone, welcome to Job Club. So glad that you are joining us for this wonderful presentation today. We'll get started shortly. I see a lot of people coming into the webinar now. So if you can tell us where you're coming in from, we'd love to know that in the chat box. And while we're waiting, reminder to toggle the chat box to everyone so everyone can see your messages. We'll get started shortly. Right. Again, welcome everyone to Job Club. We're very excited to have you here. If you can please let us know in the chat box where you're located. We would love to know that, and maybe some industries that you're looking to get involved with in your career. We'd also would love to know that as well. We'll begin shortly. Right, other people are joining us. Great to see so many attendees being invited in, and we are so glad that you are here. We have a wonderful presentation today. And so for today's agenda, we want to welcome you. We also want to hear about any success stories that you might have. Then we'll have our main speaker presentation, and we'll have our UK Steps partner update, and we'll follow up to talk about the next time at Job Club. Now, our mission at Job Club is to provide a positive environment for job seekers to network and learn best practices for the job search. We meet on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month, and you can find that schedule of topics at ukalumni.net/job club. So a quick introduction to our Job Club facilitators. We are so appreciative of this team to bring you Job Club the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month. My name is Amy Gamblin. I'm the Associate Director of Alumni Career Services. We're joined by Caroline Francis, the Director of Alumni Career Services, and also Nicole Waite, who's the Employment Specialist at UK Steps Temporary Employment. Now, behind the scenes, we have Christy Kaufman, who does a lot of work for us for Job Club, and she's with the UK Alumni Association. We want to welcome our first timers. So glad that you're here. So if you're a first timer at Job Club, let us know. We want to celebrate that with you and where you are coming from, where you're located. And type that in the chat box, maybe some industry or career that you're looking at. Let us know that this is your first Job Club. We'd like to welcome you and keep joining us for wonderful presentations we have coming up for the rest of the year. Now, please note, just a reminder, some attendees are conducting a confidential job search. So let's please be respectful of the privacy for the job search of others. There might be a name that you notice in the chat. So please be respectful, protect their confidentiality for their own job search. Now, Job Club is hosted in virtual format only. We're our live and Zoom webinar where a chat moderator is available. We'll also be uploading this on our Facebook page, UK Alumni Association Facebook page. There's no chat moderator there. Also, a reminder that this is being recorded, and those recordings and slides will be available at our website on ukalumni.net/Job Club recordings. You can also check out some free resources on our Alumni Career Service resource page, where you'll find free career webinars and other job search resources. And just as a reminder, we have a wonderful Lunch and Learn coming up on Thursday, where we be giving tips on mastering your performance review. So that is a great program upcoming. We also have other upcoming programs and presentations, webinars scheduled, and you can find a list of those in your chat box as well, and also on our website. We also remind you to join the Job Club of Kentucky LinkedIn group. So that information was on your screen, is also in your chat box there. So we post we post job postings there, share tips there. So please join our Job Club LinkedIn group for you to get more material, more information on upcoming webinars. Now, next, we want to hear about any success stories that you have. Now, the success stories could be including anything that could be a success. Christy, if you can go back to the last slide there, the success stories, more than just in securing a job. It could be that you have an interview coming up, or maybe you have updated your resume, or maybe you have an informational interview as well. So we'd love to celebrate that with you. If you've had a job interview, if you had success in any of those job search strategies, please put that in the chat. We want to celebrate those successes with you. And of course, we're confident that you're doing these things. So please send us an email at jobclub@uky.edu. What your successes are. If you've received a job offer, let us know that. If you have an interview, we'd love to know that as well. So again, success stories we want to celebrate with you. Now, employers and recruiters are always welcome at Job Club and encouraged to share those active job leads with our group here in our chat box. And also employers can share that on our LinkedIn page or by submitting a Job Club lead form. And that information is also found in your chat. So attendees, again, be sure to check out this LinkedIn page, make that a part of your regular job search strategy. Check out our Job Club LinkedIn page for these possible job opportunities that you might be interested in. And we do have a very special guest with us today, Daniel Johnson, who's the account director for LinkedIn. He supports colleges and universities across the Midwest to leverage LinkedIn to hire, develop, and retain talent. Now, prior to LinkedIn, he worked as a consultant in K-12 education, working with large school districts and state DOEs on teacher recruitment and retention initiatives. He lives in Washington, D.C., but is originally from Louisville, Kentucky. We won't hold that against him. No, we love Louisville. We love Louisville. So we want to welcome Daniel in this wonderful presentation that he has for us today. Now, as a reminder, if you have any questions, Daniel is happy to answer them as he's going through his presentations. So if you have any questions, feel free to type that in the chat box and we'll be moderating that. So welcome, Daniel. And Daniel, you're on mute there.
Sorry about that. Couldn't find the mute setting, but we've got it covered. So thank you so much, Amy. It's really great to be here today. We'll go ahead and kick off. I think that is going to move. There we go. So this is a session called Rock Your LinkedIn Profile. We facilitate these sessions for different organizations, different levels, different role types. We'll keep it fairly general today and hopefully apply to all. Do know that this is information that we can also help you find online. So if there's anything today that you learn about and you want to kind of explore further, we'll point you towards those resources. Or you can Google Rock Your LinkedIn Profile and you can likely find a lot of really good stuff that we're going to cover today. Amy, thank you for the introduction. I won't repeat very much here. this is a little bit about me on the screen. I like to say that my first real job was in career services. I worked as a peer career assistant at the University of Kansas. And in that role, I helped our amazing career advisors and career services team in a lot of ways, but one of them was reviewing student resumes and helping with feedback. So it feels kind of full circle here to be presenting for you all today, but also really just speaking on behalf of LinkedIn, helping people in this vein as well. Amy also mentioned my role as an account director. So I work with large publics across the Midwest, as said, and University of Kentucky is one of our very cherished customers. So I appreciate the opportunity to present as part of that partnership today. Lastly, I just want to call out, this is a quick snapshot of my personal resume, some of the steps that I've taken over the course of my career. And LinkedIn has really played a pivotal role at several of those moments. Times where I discovered my next role explicitly through a connection and information about a future role on LinkedIn, or from a connection who reached out and shared information about something I might make a good fit for. So I really do believe in what we're going to talk about today, because it's had a huge impact on my ability to just be here speaking with you today. And we always share something not on LinkedIn. I was going to share that I grew up in Louisville, so there you go. Amy shared that too. I grew up in Louisville. My parents met at Humana. It's an honor to get to support the state. So I'm going to talk us through our agenda quickly. We're going to talk about a few areas. We'll spend a little bit of time up front just kind of norming on LinkedIn and its role in your job search, in your day-to-day. We are going to talk about your profile. So we'll go through some basics there. We'll take a look at some amazing profiles and use those as an example for how you can think about your own. We'll talk about the importance of networking and how LinkedIn can play a role with that. And then we'll talk about a few resources around skill development that LinkedIn has to offer. So really, hopefully, wherever you're at, whether you have a profile today or you're just getting started, there's going to be something here for you to walk away with. And as Amy said, I love engagement as we go. It helps kind of keep things fun for me. So if you do have questions, comments, please put them in the chat. I'm not always as great at looking at them. I'm kind of looking over here. They might come in over here, but I know Amy will let me know if there's anything burning in the chat. All right, so let's talk about LinkedIn. You may or may not already be on LinkedIn, but likely you have some form of social media out there. And how you engage on that social media relates to the purpose of the platform. So Facebook, you might tell the world you like donuts. Snapchat or Instagram, you might share a video of you eating a donut. Pinterest, you might save your favorite donut recipes. I don't know if anybody has a donut playlist for Spotify, but my point is what you do, how you engage on that platform relates to its purpose. So where does LinkedIn fit in within this? LinkedIn is a place to engage your professional mindset. Maybe you hope to operate a donut shop. Maybe you're looking for a donut job, or you want to communicate your donut experience. Wherever you are, whether you're interested in starting a new donut career or maybe making sure that you maintain your donut professional connections, LinkedIn is a place to engage that professional mindset. And that's really the purpose of the platform. It's what it's built for, and it's really what we're going to be here to talk about today. If there are any donut enthusiasts out there, all power to you. I think it's a great place for you. And that truly is our mission. I talked about kind of the purpose. So this is our mission statement. It is to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. That's a fairly lofty mission statement. So how do we do that? This is just a little bit about our membership base and what LinkedIn is. Actually, one of these numbers is out of date. It says 950 million members. We actually hit 1 billion members in the last few months. So we are a place where millions of members come to the community every day to make connections, to find jobs, to build and share knowledge. Someone is hired every 6 to 7 seconds on the platform. Somebody makes a career shift. And we have a collection of skills data from our membership base that we call the economic graph. And it provides LinkedIn the ability to provide a snapshot of the global workforce at any time. When Amazon was looking to move its headquarters, there was a big race to what city is Amazon going to put H2 in. They came to LinkedIn to look at our economic graph to get an understanding of where the workforce would be, what types of skills communities had, what types of talent flow would make sense for the location of that headquarters. So that's a little bit about who we are and what we do. And let's just zoom. Oh, I guess I did animate that. We are at 1 billion members, and that is very exciting and just demonstrates, I think, the gravity that the platform has right now for job seekers. Just in terms of, let's zoom that in on the state of Kentucky for a moment. This is your local talent pool. So we're looking at Kentucky and any metro region that's immediately adjacent. There are nearly 1.6 million professionals in Kentucky on LinkedIn. 126,000 of them posted that they changed jobs in the last year. And more than 17.6 thousand job posts are currently active on LinkedIn. So if you're not here yet, come in. The water's warm. And that just hopefully gives you a little bit of a sense. You can see actually our largest employer here, UK, who has an incredible LinkedIn presence. I work directly with that team to keep those jobs up to date, keep the recruiters finding talent on LinkedIn. And you can see that playing out here is the largest employer in the state. All right. That's a little bit about LinkedIn. Let's jump in and get more focused on you now. We're going to talk about your profile. That is really the base. How do we navigate? And I did see a chat come in, so I'm going to look at that right now. How do we navigate on LinkedIn to find those talent pool stats? That's a really good question, Katie. Let me think on that for a second. This comes from a platform we call Talent Insights, which companies can have access to. It's open to, I mentioned Amazon. That's a very grandiose case, but companies can purchase access to this part of the platform. I don't know if this data is fully open to any member, but let me think on that for a moment. There may be some ways, but we're going to talk a little bit today about how to find people, how to find jobs, how to find these companies. So whether you get it in aggregate or you get it more in smaller doses, we'll talk through each one of those today. And thanks, Katie. And feel free to follow up with me as well if we'd like. We can, if you're part of UK and want to explore any of this further, I am here to help with that as well. How would you properly change reflect if you're not currently on your most recent position? How would you properly? I'm not sure I followed that question, Greg, so I'm going to let you see if you could clarify that a little bit further in the chat, and I will come back to it. I just am not sure if you mean what you mean by you're not currently on your most recent position. If you're saying you're not currently employed by it, that's okay. You can just put out the date that you last served it, and we'll talk a little bit about open to work and how to navigate that as well. If I'm off on that question, please feel free to clarify. All right, we're going to jump into your profile. So what can you do to engage with LinkedIn? If you're a member, how can you make sure that you're maximizing the platform? Your profile is really the foundation of your personal brand. It helps you answer the most common interview question. So I'm going to stop there for a second. The most common interview question, what do you think that is? First person to pop it in the chat wins some spirit points today. Tell me about you. Thank you, Marcus. You were first. That's close. I'm looking for something close. Actually, no, sorry, you got it right. You got it right, Marcus. I don't know why I was phrasing it differently in my head for some reason. Tell me about yourself. That is correct. You got it right, Marcus. You win the points today. I don't really have a physical prize, but Marcus, great work. Tell me about yourself. That is the most common interview question. And that is what LinkedIn, your profile, is intended to help you answer in real time. Thank you, Marcus. But it is different than a resume. Sorry about that. It is different than a resume. It speaks to all potential employers, not just a single one. It goes into more detail, can show skills, projects, interests, certification. Some of those can be shared on your resume, but really in greater detail and in more elaborate fashion. It allows others to see the kinds of people in your network. That's certainly something a resume cannot do. And it contains recommendations, endorsements, additional testimony about who you are as a potential employee. So a resume is still a really valuable tool when you're applying for a role, but a profile can kind of go, a LinkedIn profile can kind of go a bit deeper and broader in terms of showing a bit more about who you are and what you could bring as an employee. So we're going to just talk through a few pointers. Some of this may be things that you've already got covered. It's just a good way to gut check it. Others of you maybe getting those profiles kind of still built out. This is going to be a great opportunity to talk through that. All right, step one. I know this sounds fairly straightforward, but you'd be amazed by how many people out there do not have photos on their profiles. This does not need to be a professional headshot, just you alone, typically shoulders up, neutral-ish background, clothing that this is kind of the most common questions, like what kind of clothing, what does that need to be? Clothing that represents your profession. If you work in finance, most likely you're going to be wearing a suit and you're going to be pretty buttoned up. That's just what I've seen from that industry. If you work in tech, it's a lot of times a bit more casual. So I think it's okay to present that slightly more business casual attire, or even a little more casual on that side. But again, it represents you, it represents your profession, it represents your pursuits. You can also add a name pronunciation, even a video intro. So there's some buttons in there that allow you to, name pronunciation can be super helpful, can avoid that kind of initial question at the start of an interview, or if somebody maybe makes a mistake around that, it can be really helpful. But the first thing that you want to do is make sure you have a profile photo. And our analytics from search, we see that profiles with a photo get 21 times more profile views. So again, if you're out there and hiring managers or recruiters are looking around, there are more than 3 million recruiters on the platform. Having a profile photo is a first and must have. So profiles, pictures done right. Just some examples here to the left that I think embody what we just talked through. Great smiles, character represented, captivating, lighting is strong, simple backgrounds. I think I see somebody in here, Amy. It's got a really nice photo, so nice it made the banner. All of these people look highly approachable, and that's a big part of what we're aiming for. So if you don't have that profile photo, I took mine on my phone. You don't need to make it a professional headshot. That's great if you do, but can also be something that you take as long as you try to kind of meet some of those criteria. Second, adding your work experience. Your most recent position is going to be shown in your top fold. So maybe, Greg, this gets to your, well, Greg Matter. I think, Greg, that even if you're not currently employed, it may still show your most recent employer. But if you're not currently employed at that role, you can just mark the timestamp of when you were there, and that's totally acceptable and very common that your most recent position doesn't necessarily fall through to the present. Just put it out there. Again, I'm not sure if it'll show in the top fold if it's not listed as current, but certainly still recommend writing it out that way. It's not surprising that if your work experience is complete, you are more likely to get engagement from recruiters. That's typically when I work with recruiters, and I work with several at the University of Kentucky. One of the key criteria that they are looking for when they run a search is previous positions or current positions. So really important that you include that work experience. I know I'm speaking to a wide-ranging audience. I do a lot of student sessions. So if there's any, more recent graduates, students, anything like that, internships, summer jobs, part-time jobs, if you're early in your career, totally fine to include those. They articulate your professional pathway. So I still have a job. I showed it to you, a job I held in college on my LinkedIn. It's okay to list as far back as you want, as long as you feel like it's connected to the journey that you want to tell people about. Last thing in the descriptors, this is kind of just a resume tip. So same thing goes for LinkedIn. Tell people about your top accountabilities and anything you accomplish. If you can quantify it, that's great. If you can't, just articulate what that key accountability was, maybe how it drove any kind of impact. So just like on the resume, just as important to do it here. Step 3, add your education. If you have a degree or other education experience, include it. If you've got multiple degrees, include them both. You can add more about awards and honors. You can include your athletics, your leadership, any clubs. It's okay, again, even if they were a long time ago. I'm several years out of college, but I still have that I was the president of the swim club at the University of Kansas. It's a fun fact about me. Sometimes it just inspires conversation. I'm also proud of it. So I think, when you write out that education, if you had activities and societies, throw them in there. It's good anecdotal evidence about who you were and who you are. And totally legitimate to include there. This is also a top fold item. We're going to talk about the top fold in a second, but again, this is something that people will immediately learn about you, and one also of the key variables that recruiters are going to be searching for depending on the job position that they're sourcing for. We're going to talk about 2 more steps. Add volunteer experience. This is just kind of like a reminder because I think sometimes people forget, sometimes people leave it out. It demonstrates what you care about. It demonstrates more, again, a little bit, maybe something you wouldn't always include on your resume, but you have the space for it on LinkedIn. It might not be, again, a criteria that a recruiter is going to search for you on, but it's a nice thing to have there when they do land on your profile and want to understand more about who you are. So add the volunteer experience. There's a place for it. There's also a place where you can add honors and awards. You can do that too. There's a space for interests. If there's organizations or key professional influencers out there that you follow, great to follow them. This is kind of all just providing a little bit more color about who you are as a person and potential employee. And the last one is just drafting a headline and summary. I actually get the most questions about this one of all of them. So I'm going to talk quickly through what these are. Headline is going to be the words that are right below your name. Okay, so brand manager, incoming customer experience intern. If you leave the headline blank, it will fill it in for you with your most recent role typically. But you do have real estate here to tell a little bit about you. And this is part of that top fold. Again, it's one of the first things people learn about you. So just as an example, think about you're in a room with the CEO of your dream company. How would you best introduce yourself? If you had, just a quick hello, I might say, "Hi, I'm Daniel, and I work for LinkedIn." It's a great intro. It's clear to the point. I might also say, "Hi, I'm Daniel, and I help large universities hire, develop, and retain talent." Maybe a little bit better. Maybe tells a little bit more about me and what I care about, also like my function, what I do. So um, you think about that, what makes sense for you? What kind of information do you want to communicate? But that headline there is like a really small space to tell a little bit about yourself. Then below that is going to be your summary. The summary elaborates on that even further. So it's a space to tell more about who you are, what your priorities are, a sense of your professional personality. People ask me, how long should this be? There's really no right answer. It's a style thing. But I'd say the LinkedIn average is somewhere around 100 words. Are they longer? Absolutely. Are they shorter? Mine's a little bit shorter. So it's up to you and your style, but average is probably around 100 words in that section. And if you're having trouble with it, that's okay. You don't know exactly what to say. We've got a support in here right with AI. It'll help you put something together there if you need something to get you started. Just make sure that you've completed your profile first, because it's going to read across your whole profile to help you draft something up. So if you don't have anything in there, then it doesn't really know what to do, and it's going to give you a pretty generic and possibly not helpful headline or summary. So if you need help with the summary, write with AI. Easy way to get something in there that is helpful. And you can see this is mine right here. I didn't go 100 words. I kept it at 2 sentences. I felt like that was what I wanted to communicate about myself. All right, that's our profile. We're gonna do a little bit more on that, and then we'll shift over to networking. So keeping track on time, I think we're doing good here, but I'll pace accordingly. Let's talk top fold for just a moment. I think this is an important takeaway. Quick, one more question for the chat here. How long do you think it takes for a recruiter to decide if they are interested in a candidate? And by interested, I mean like they're going to spend more time exploring that candidate. How long do you think it takes for a recruiter to decide if they are interested in a candidate? Laura, you got the cheat sheet here. You nailed it. 6 seconds is correct. 6 seconds. And that's based on just our analytics of when a recruiter pops into a profile, it takes about 6 seconds for them to decide if they're going to continue on with that profile or move on to the next. And the top fold takes up a big portion. It takes up that 6 seconds. It's the 6 seconds. It's the top fold. It's going to tell people who you are, where you are, what do you do, how many, who are you connected with. So think about this as a section to tell people about yourself in the first 6 seconds that they get introduced to you on LinkedIn. We're looking at Amy's here. It's really nice. You can see she's got a custom banner here. It's really, nice and just a friendly background. She's got a great profile photo that kind of hits those criteria. Location. She's got a huge connection list with several common connections to me. She's got a headline that calls out not just her role, but also some of her other credentials, education, current employer. A lot of really great stuff here that I learn about Amy very quickly, so that I feel comfortable that she's somebody I want to spend time learning more on. As I go past that top fold, she's got a really nicely filled out profile. It pretty much hits every single thing that I just shared. So if you're looking for a good example, hop over to Amy's LinkedIn page and take a look through that. Think about how you can mirror it for your own. But really does a nice job of covering most of the guidelines that we just covered in this session. All right, so I'm going to keep us moving here. I want to talk about the main thing that you're probably going to be doing on LinkedIn outside of building your profile. Once you get your profile built, it's kind of there. It kind of does its work for you. What you're going to be likely doing is networking. So let's go there. Everyone has a network. You may not realize it, but anytime you meet someone, a new friend, acquaintance, volunteer, any other social activity, professional activity, you are networking. That's an opportunity for networking. It's a key factor in career advancement. More than 50% of workers currently employed found their job through a personal connection. That includes myself, somebody I met on vacation, kept in touch with, worked in the education industry, and let me know about this job here. So I believe in that stat, and I believe in LinkedIn's power to help you be part of that. Your network consists of strong connections. So those are the people that you're immediately connected to, people you know well, interact with, but also weak connections. So acquaintances, people you may not know personally, but you have a shared background or interest or a mutual connection with. So those are your second degree connections. And you also have third degree connections. I mean, you have fourth and fifth as well, but we're going to keep it at 3 just to make the point on this. Research shows that your weaker connections, your second, your third degree, are often more valuable than your first. And that's because their networks are more diverse than your own. You know the people around you, you know what they do. You've probably already explored even opportunities that exist. So it's the second and third degree connections that's really going to be the gold mine of branching you out much further. So think about this when you engage on LinkedIn, not just who the immediates are, but also up to those third degrees. You have the ability to engage with anyone that's up to a third degree network by sending them a message or finding them through some of our search vehicles. So think about that network and web as you build those connections. You can customize your connection request to explain why you're interested in adding a second or third degree connection. So I mentioned the messaging feature applies out to the third degree, and whether it is to learn more about their career journey through an informational interview, or maybe to request a referral for a job you're interested in. Most LinkedIn members often or always do respond to a request for a referral, and more than 60% of the workforce has referred someone to work at their company at a given time. So while it can feel uncomfortable or nerve-wracking to connect with people, it really is a professional norm on LinkedIn. So think about this as a safe place to take that risk and do some of that reach out that you may otherwise feel less inclined to do. Again, asking for informational interviews. You don't have to be asking about a specific role. I have somebody right now this week at a school I work for, or sorry, a school I work with, who's reached out to me to just ask me about my journey to LinkedIn, kind of what that looks like in terms of account management. I am happy to do that call, and I know that I'm not alone in that mindset. So think of this as a place where you can do that. Ask for those informational interviews if that's something you'd like to do. Okay, the last thing we're going to cover here is job searching and skill development. We're going to talk a little bit. Somebody asked earlier about like, how do I find that jobs data? And so, you know, maybe not necessarily the jobs data itself, but how do you find those jobs? All those, you know, the wide number of jobs in Kentucky or around, or even further out. In the jobs tab in LinkedIn, it's pretty straightforward. I don't mean to say that it's super easy to always find a job that you want to work for, but to build your search, it just takes a little bit of effort. You can add location, you can add experience level, you can add job type, You can add job titles and different descriptions. You can add on-site or remote. So a lot of different search criteria to help you narrow down the types of roles that you're looking for. And then if you do come up with a search that you feel good about and is kind of yielding roles in the right direction, you can save that search and you can set a search alert. So that way LinkedIn starts working for you, kind of acts as your job sourcer. You just are going to save that search. You can decide the frequency at which you receive an alert about it, email, notification, how you want to receive it. And this is a really easy way. Spend some time building out a search or two that feels good for the types of jobs you're searching for. Save the search alert, and then check it at whatever frequency you set it. Easy way to have the platform show those jobs to you in real time. You can tell your network you're open to work. If you can do that through a post, but you can also put the ring around your profile. This lets people know very quickly that you are job seeking and keep you top of mind as roles come about. Really easy to do that. There's a button right below your profile photo that says that'll allow you to turn that on. Okay, I'm going to move us through two more things here. If you have any questions, start queuing them up. I know we want to make sure we have some time for that. So the last thing I'm going to talk here today is skill development on LinkedIn. There is both free and paid access to LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning is our library of more than 20,000 courses. It's driven by the economic graph, so it's all informed by the skills that we're seeing employers needing and wanting. AI is a really big one right now, so there's a ton of courses on AI. But everything from the basics to really complex technical skills, LinkedIn Learning is a great resource for that. When you complete a LinkedIn Learning course, you can add a badge to your profile. It'll show up in your license and certifications. It's a really nice way to round out your profile. We have a bunch of certification prep and CEU courses in there as well, if that's something that you need to be doing. How to access, if you're a UK employee, I know we have some here, you do have access to this. You can just go to linkedin.com/learning, type in your UK handle, and you will get access. If you're a non-UK employee, two things. Check with your local library. They may have access. It's a really nice version of the platform for libraries. So check that out. See if your library has it. The second thing you can do is what Amy has shared. There is a curated list of resources at opportunity.linkedin.com. We've identified 10 jobs with the greatest number of job openings that pay a livable wage and require skills that can be learned online. So take a look at opportunity.linkedin.com. That's a great place with many of the resources if you're not able to get that access through your employer or the local library. All right, this is the checklist. This is everything we covered today. Update that profile, build your network, search for jobs, highlight those skills, check out the LinkedIn Learning resources. And thank you all so much. I'm going to go ahead and stop there and open up for questions. Or if I've run out of time, facilitators, you tell me where you want to go from here.
Awesome. Terrific job, Daniel. So much great information, very detailed. I've been following along as well. We do have some questions coming in. Stacy asks, what if your LinkedIn was created with a personal email? Can the UK email be used?
Great question. When you log into LinkedIn Learning, use your UK handle. That's how you're going to get in. It's going to give you the option if you want to connect that to your personal profile or keep it separate. So you'll use UK handle to get into LinkedIn Learning, and then you'll have the ability to connect it to your personal if you want to use that as a way to log in. We do recommend doing that because it uses your profile information to create a personalized experience in LinkedIn Learning. It also allows you to do that badging back and forth, but you also have the option to keep it separate. So hopefully that answers your question, Stacy. That's a really good one.
I'm just checking the chat again. I know for myself, LinkedIn Learning was a valuable resource, so I highly encourage those that are wanting to do any reskilling or upskilling to check out just a ton of courses that they have. They even have certificates that you can get and put on your resume that's going to be helpful for you if you're looking to transition to a new job. So someone asks, can you talk about posting on LinkedIn?
Sure thing. So posting typically is going to refer to the the social wall of LinkedIn, right? So when you log into LinkedIn.com and you're going to see Amy posted about the LinkedIn event today. Daniel posted this new resource from LinkedIn Learning. Whatever that is, that's going to be the general method of posting on LinkedIn. It's a great way to create visibility for yourself by posting, particularly if you're in the job searching. We see a lot of people as they gear up for job search or they're in job search, they get really active on there, and that's great. But it's also good to be active outside of that, right? So you're I like to think about being active on LinkedIn, building your network on LinkedIn. It's like a 401k. Okay, you're investing in something that will, in the future, pay off when you need it. And that's I think, posting as well. So great way to stay visible. If you're not comfortable posting, another thing to do, just like and comment, okay? Like and comment. Great, you don't have to be the star of the show. That's another way to be visible and active within your network without, putting yourself out there too much if you're not comfortable.
Yeah, and Carson even asked, what are good ideas for posts on LinkedIn?
It's a good question. I think like the main guideline is like keep it that mindset of professionality. That's the purpose of the platform. That's like where we want to live. So things about your work, accomplishments, things about that you're learning, things that you've attended. I think those are the common veins, but we see people get creative as well and post a story about an interaction with their kid or something they saw at a sporting event. It's a place to share your thoughts. But I would just caution to keep it within the funnel of professional mindset, and that's usually a safe bet.
And I think, sharing articles of interest, especially with the industries and the careers that you're looking to go toward, is a great way to post and be noticed. You can create a brand that way, sharing, specific information in a particular field. I always found that helpful as well.
I love that. And that's an easy way to build your brand with like, sharing, being a thought leader by sharing thought leadership. I think that's a great use of the platform. And I learn a lot from people like Amy and others who do that kind of sharing.
Here's another great question from Erica. I created a LinkedIn profile long ago, have kept it up. Can I go in and do a total revamp or delete it and start over?
Just do a revamp. If you start over, you get into the whole mess of like, I gotta, revamp, like start a new email or just clean it out and rebuild. Okay. And actually when you first built it, the platform has so many new bells and whistles now to help you build it faster and cleaner that you're gonna find that to be a really easy experience. That's my advice.
And Samuel asked, and I think this is a good question as well. I've been asked this a lot. What does LinkedIn Premium offer? Does it offer a better chance of getting a job?
It's a great question. So you'll notice I didn't come in here to sell you premium. I'd say everything that I talked about today, premium tries to help you level it up a bit. Okay, so it gives you a bit more analytics and insights on job availability. It gives you a little bit more there's a couple things with like networking. So you're going to have like more messaging that you can use to send to people if that's something you need. If you don't have premium, you'll get throttled at some point. It'll say, okay, that's enough messages per day. With premium, you're going to have a larger bank of that. You're going to be able to see who viewed your profile. Okay, that's something that you can you can go in like private mode. So there's some like additional settings on how you look at people's profiles. So I'm not like my advice is like start with LinkedIn.com, and if you feel limited by the features, like maybe you hit the max message limit, or you're like, it's advertising to you more things you could be learning about this employer, and you're like, I need that. Then take a look at it. Premium offers 30 days free. So play around with LinkedIn first, get comfortable with it, take the step, get the free 30 days if you want it, and then decide if it's an investment that you want to make. But a lot of people do make it. I use Premium. A lot of people do. So check it out if you're interested.
Yeah, great. And Con asks, how would you recommend reaching out directly to recruiters as a candidate that's currently not employed?
It's a good question. I think I don't think being employed or not employed is going to change my answer on that. I think if you have a company or a field that you're interested in and you're able to identify the hiring manager for that role, it is certainly a best practice on LinkedIn to take the step to reach out and let them know that you're interested, that you'd like to learn more, that you think you'd make a great candidate. So whether you're currently employed or not, I think LinkedIn is a safe space to make those interactions. If they don't respond to you, that's okay as well. I mean, it's no harm, no foul. It's really acceptable behavior on the platform to do that kind of outreach and solicit that kind of interest. Sometimes the harder thing is identifying who those hiring managers are, and that can just take a bit of homework to kind of look around, see who made the posts, figure out who those roles are.
Another tip, I have when I work with clients is if you find a position that you're really interested in and you find a company, see what UK alumni, if you're a UK alumni, if there are any UK alumni in these particular industries, the particular companies, see if there's someone that you can reach out to even do an informational interview with to find out more about the position or more about the company. So that's another great resource I think LinkedIn offers as well.
That's a incredible call, Amy. Something you all should know. I didn't put it on the screen today, but you can check it out right now. If you go to University of Kentucky LinkedIn, just find that page. There should be a tab for alumni. Okay, and that alumni tab, you can filter for location, for company, for title. There's a few different filters to help you find people. So if you have a job, exactly what Amy just said, but the UK alumni tab is a great place to go find those people.
Let's see. Samuel asks, I'm interested in full-time, but also would consider part-time or as needed work. I'm an engineer. How do I search for that?
You should still have tabs in the job searching that indicates on part or full time. If you're not seeing that, I can look into it, but you should still be able to search for the part or full time types of roles. And so I think same advice applies here. Check out the jobs page, put in the criteria you're seeking, and see if it produces. When we bring in jobs into LinkedIn, so UK as an example, they are classified as part or full time as part of the criteria of that scrape. So jobs, you should be able to find jobs with that as a variable.
I want to be respectful of time. I do have one more question and then we'll wrap it up. Carson asks, I currently have a job title that isn't quite where I'm looking to go. How do you showcase your other experience and skills that you want to get back to when your current job title is misleading?
It's a great question. So I was a teacher for a long time, and I see a lot of teachers who think about making jumps into other fields, and or that's just my network, right? So I think a couple things. One, we talked about posting today. So how can you start to build your brand around what you're interested in, even if you want to be as vulnerable to say, I am an aspiring, I am looking to do this, and you could write about that. I see people in the teacher field say things like, current teacher, aspiring X in their headline. I think that's okay. Another is what we talked about with skill development, reskilling and upskilling. So how do you communicate the skills that you're developing in this new path, whether that's through LinkedIn Learning or any other provider, but maybe you took a course or maybe you took got a certification. So using LinkedIn as a vehicle to showcase those other pieces to start to build your brand around the job that you do want or the field that you do want. I think that's typically what we see. Amy, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I 100% agree with all the tips that you just gave there. So definitely, looking at ways that you can find LinkedIn Learning classes that you can upskill or reskill, and posting those on your LinkedIn so people are aware. Maybe you're making that career transition, that they are aware of your continuing learning development in the particular areas that you want to go into.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Daniel, thank you so much. A lot of great questions. We appreciate all of the attendees' questions today. We do want to wrap up, but thank you, Daniel, for a wonderful presentation. We want to wrap up to give you some additional resources that are available to you. So I'm going to turn it over to Nicole Waite.
Thank you, Daniel, and thank you, Amy. Daniel, what a great, great presentation. I know that I took some notes myself. We could always use help with our LinkedIn profile, so I really appreciate today's. Yes, congratulations. Yes, a lot of people sending some hand claps here. Great presentation. So once again, my name is Nicole Waite. I am an employment specialist here at the University of Kentucky in the STEPS department. And so I have actually already posted some job leads for those who are interested in some administrative assistant or administrative associate positions. We have 2 positions that we're highlighting today. One will be for our HR training and development. Sorry about that. So ironically, we were talking about training through LinkedIn. Our training and development department is seeking an administrative associate, and internal audit, I should say, is seeking an administrative assistant. So if you want to jump over to our LinkedIn page, those 2 are already posted. And I also will be sharing on the healthcare side, patient relations assistant and another office clerical role that we're seeking applicants for. So please take a look at that LinkedIn profile. I believe Carolyn has already included that profile link in the chat. And if not, you can certainly find us on LinkedIn. All righty, and let's see what we got here next. Of course, our UK Alumni Career Services team, which of course is Carolyn Francis and Amy here, and of course Christy. But if you would like some one-on-one resume writing or critiquing, feel free to visit our website. You can also register to have one-on-one sessions with Carolyn or Amy, just to get some that really personal time, ask some more questions that you may not have thought of today. That's a time to get those questions answered, work on some resume critiques, and just answer some of those, get some interview preparation, mock interviews, things like that. And I don't want to fail to mention that UK Alumni Career Services, sorry about that, will also be hosting a lunch and learn this Thursday at 10 a.m. and October the 10th. And it's going to be about mastering your performance review and how to prepare for what to expect. And if you get there a little earlier, if you want some of that one-on-one time with resume, for resume reviews or just some simple questions about your LinkedIn profile, things like that, then come join us. I'll also hop in there and maybe I'll have some more job leads at that time. We receive job leads daily. So feel free to register and join us this Thursday. And that schedule will also be posted on our LinkedIn page. So next time at Job Club on October 22nd, high demand careers and short-term training programs. I am happy to announce that one of my coworkers, Roxanne Ruth, is our employment consultant for UK Human Resources. She is one of the people that will be on the panel for this presentation alongside Maddie Stevens, who is one of our UK administrative programs and who is our UK administrative and programs employees. She helps with different short-term programs and long-term programs here at the University of Kentucky. Ethan Sturgill for admissions counselor at BCTC, and Michael Chambers, the director of adult learning enrollment at BCTC. This is a great panel. They all work together, so they're all familiar with each other. They've also, as I say, have crosswords and worked together to help with the different programs that the university has with BCTC. You will not want to miss this presentation. Again, thank you, Daniel, for that LinkedIn presentation today. It was wonderful. And if you would like to register for the next Job Club presentation, please visit us and register here. There's a link there at the bottom, or you can scan that QR code. Thank you so much for you all attending and being patient throughout this presentation today. I hope you took a lot of notes. Thank you. That is it for Job Club today, and we'll see you on the 22nd. Bye.